All right, today we are starting on page 8. We're going to talk about subtracting integers. So go ahead and write subtracting integers in your table of contents next to page 8. And then we're going to turn to page 8. And the title at the top of page 8 is Subtracting Integers as well. With adding integers, we have 3 different methods that we used. With subtracting integers, we're only going to focus on 2 methods of how to solve these problems. So the first method we're going to talk about is similar, or actually the same, as one of the methods that we talked about with adding integers, and that is using a number line. Number lines are super helpful in lots of types of problems, especially when we're first learning, because they kind of help us connect it to something that we can see. Okay, and actually the steps are going to be pretty much the same as they were with adding. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, which is the same, and it is to start at the first number in the problem. So the first number that we encounter in the problem, we're going to put a point on the number line at that number. So let's do the example. -6 minus 2. So we're going to solve that using a number line. -6 minus 2. So we're going to create our little number line here. -1, -2, -3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. And remember, we can always add to our number line as we need to. Okay? So our first step is to start at the first number in the problem. The first number that we encounter is -6. Remember, the sign that is to the left of the number is always the one that we're attaching with the number. So -6, we're going to put a point at -6. All right, our second step. If subtracting a positive, so if we're subtracting a positive number, we're going to move to the left. Now, there are going to be some types of problems where we're actually subtracting a negative. And if that shows up, we're going to move right. Okay, let's think about this for a minute. Let's think about what makes sense. So if I owe my friend $6, so I'm -$6 with my friend, and then I borrow $2 more from that person, I'm not going to owe them less. I'm going to owe them more. I'm going to now owe them $8. Okay, so when we're subtracting a positive number, we're moving to the left. It's just like normal subtraction. If we were doing 4 minus 2, we would go 4 and we go to the left 2. When we're subtracting a negative number, it's a double negative. I don't know if you've ever talked about that in like an English class, but if you say, I don't not have something, which we don't say, that means you actually have it, okay? So they kind of cancel each other out. So if we're subtracting a negative, which is the next example we'll do, we're going to move to the right. But in this case, we have -6. We started at -6. We're subtracting 2 positives. So since we're just subtracting, we're going to go to the left twice, and we end at -8. So just like with addition, step 3, where we end is our solution. Okay? So -6 minus 2 is equal to -8. Let's do an example where we're subtracting a negative. So let's do 3 minus -2. Again, we're going to draw our number line, give a few negatives, give a few positives. If we need to add to it on either side later, we can. So we start at the first number in the problem. So the first number we come to is +3, so we're going to put a point there. Then we have minus a negative. Okay, so it's the opposite of a negative. So we're actually going to go to the right. So we're subtracting a negative. We're going to go to the right, and the 2 tells us we're going to go to the right 2 places. So 3 minus -2 actually keeps us in the positive with a solution of 5. We will talk about method 2 in our next video.